So it's my great pleasure to introduce Tal Levy, and thank you very much for offering to show us what MAGNILEARN can do with AI. Tal Levy has over 35 years of experience in the field of EFL and EPIC, and since 2011, she served as head of director of EAP. She's an expert in language and literacy with a focus on educational technology and ELT from Manchester University in the UK. So Manchester University is also one of the universities I was involved with in one of the projects. Tal is a certified EPIC practitioner. Tal held various academic positions, showcasing her commitment to enhancing European academic colleges' educational program. Notably, she has played a crucial role in steering committees focusing on advanced learning technologies. She has made significant contributions to the development of active blended learning, both at European and throughout Israel. And she is Vice President of the Higher Education Network of English Teachers in Israel, the HiNet. Tal has published research articles primarily on the integration of AI in English for international communication. That's EPIC. I was just looking forward to that. She sits on the board of MAGNILEARN, a company that revolutionizes learning efficiency through AI-driven personalized instructions. So without further ado, over to you, Tal.
Thank you so much, and thank you for a really inspiring, thought-provoking, spearheading professional day. I have so much to say and comment on so many points that came up throughout the day. So today, maybe it's like deduction, because I'm going to be focusing on a very specific area of AI in language learning and what it can do for instructors in language courses. So it's about harnessing AI and bettering language instruction. But before that, I want to tell you that today my grandson was born, so I was in and out of the conference. So he's a few hours old, so it was like a very moving day for me. So I had to put the picture in and tell you about it. But let's get down to business. So the question is, does one size fit all? A common problem in the classroom is disconnection between teachers and students. Instructors are often not using the same language as their students, and the passive way in which information is delivered, it can create a more disconnect for students who are either very far behind or very much ahead. This is one of the areas in which the personalized learning model greatly benefits teachers and students alike. So isn't that our reality in our classrooms to a large extent, especially when we teach in the old style of a class has a linear program where they're exposed to something, then they drill and kill, and then they're tested on what they were exposed to. They came in with the difference usually just grows. This is at least my experience from many years of teaching language with traditional curriculum. So this is the most we can do when teaching all students with the same curriculum, which is better than what I just presented before. But how do we get here where all students in the classroom get the same opportunity and raised to demonstrate ability or exploit their potential to its most? Or even better, how do we get here? That's a good question. I think that's like our dream as instructors of language. And a lot was said today about the need to learn languages and the desire to learn a language and the multicultural aspect and all the things that were mentioned today. I know from so many years of teaching, when I ask my students, what do you want most as far as English is concerned? And they say to communicate freely and not to fear making mistakes. That's the most common answer I've received over and over thousands and tens of thousands of times throughout my career. So a few years ago, in a quest to find a solution, I was lucky to come across MAGNILEARN. They actually approached me when they were at their very baby steps of developing the platform. They heard that I'm very much into educational technology and a leader in the field of EPIC and EAP, and they approached me, and I was willing to join them in a journey. Now, I will put in the chat the link. Why can't I see the chat? This is blocking my thing. Just a second. Apologies here. So here's the link to MAGNILEARN for those of you who want to explore it. And there are also videos and samples. I will not have time today to get into all of that, but you have the link and you can explore for yourselves. But it's revolutionizing English learning and how effective it is for my students. And I can testify this after 3 years of working with MAGNILEARN and trying it in my classroom. So MAGNILEARN is a commercial product, which is on the market, works in many countries, including Japan and Korea and Israel and other countries. It supports different languages, Arabic, Japanese, Korean, French, and other languages as well. And the beauty of MAGNILEARN is that I have full control as an instructor of the curriculum and how I want to use it with my students. I will tell you about how I'm using it, which is not necessarily the only way of using it. And there are other instructors who are doing other things with it. But the good thing about MAGNILEARN, it can be an add-on to a program or to a course. By the way, it is being added today with publishers around the globe who are embracing the technology to enhance personalized learning. Or it can be a standalone course for itself. So there are many ways of using MAGNILEARN. I'll show you in a second what it does. But before that, I want to say a few words about the key components of digital learning. So there are 5 key components, as you can see here. It's guided flexibility, it's personalization, simulation or illustration, collaboration and social learning, and learning analytics. Now, MAGNILEARN is strong on all 4 fronts, and the weakest part is the collaboration social learning, although there is a competitive element within a given course and among different classes who are at the same level. And this I'll show you as well in a second. But it really complies with all these 5 key components of digital learning. So what is the promise of AI for us as instructors? AI is a rising force in our fast-changing world. In the context of language and language learning, AI has revolutionized the types of skills needed in order to function in a different language. Still, technological tools cannot replace genuine skills of knowledge, but be a charming crutch at best. But what if we could use this crutch for the better, pointed towards smarter teaching? And that is what MAGNILEARN does for me, just like Magic School, TWI, and others that were mentioned here before. So what it does, it personalizes the content and paces the learning for the individual student. It has a smart repetition mechanism and adaptive lesson plans based on the curriculum I fed in as an instructor and students' performance. The combination of these 2 elements actually creates the course or the path that the student is getting. Now, for me as an instructor in higher education, I teach a pre-academic course for very weak students. I knew what they need to learn. I knew what I wanted them to know. I did not know, and I think no one really knows what they come in with. We can assume that at a certain level, A1, CFR-based, they are at this and that. But we know for a fact that even if they are placed at a certain level, the knowledge is very different. It's very diverse. And I wanted for them to, first of all, not hate what they're doing in my class and learning English in general. I wanted to instill their motivation, to instill the love of learning a language, and to promote their motivation to work as much as possible. I also wanted them to stay active as much as possible, and for me to know where they were at every point along the way, both on an individual level and on a macro level of a class. So I can guide my teaching based on the data that the system can provide me with, so I can focus what I want to enhance and what I want to sharpen by them. Now, as we all know, what also helped me was the element of competition, as I said. For me as a teacher, insights into areas of difficulty in grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation at both the class and student level helped a lot. And I wanted them to compete. I wanted them to be motivated to do more than required. And both predictions for and data on curriculum coverage, pace, and improvement rates per student and per group students. So I all the time encourage them. We have our weekly leader, record breaker, the one who made the most progress, etc. I'll show you copies of the charts and what they get at the end of every week. They used to give prizes at the time. They don't anymore for various reasons. But here is what I see when I enter the dashboard as an instructor. After I've fed in the curriculum, I've set the chunks, the bites of the learning. By me, it's 15 minutes. That's a learning chunk. And they're obliged to do 4 chunks of 15 minutes a week in order to comply with their async part of their learning. So I just hid the names, not that it matters so much. And I see how many learning time, accumulative learning time they have, what's their status, what's their grade, and I can do all kinds of things for the student within the system. This I see both on a class level and on an individual level. I see the grammar accuracy. I can see the different grammar themes, and I see to what extent they have improved or gone through what I have required as an instructor. And this is like an overall picture of what I get to see and look on November 22nd. This was taken then. I didn't replace it with newer data. This was the situation: low proficiency, medium proficiency, no high proficiency. And by February 23rd, as a class, look at the difference. So the improvement is really great. There is no question about it. The students themselves testify. There is a video here of our students talking about the program, which we will not have time to watch, but it's here, and I'll gladly share the link with you. I also see the overall amount of hours devoted to listening, to reading, to writing, and as we can see, speaking is the least popular. I think that it's a combination of the fact that our students are reluctant to speak, maybe more like Japanese students I worked with many, many years ago. And maybe the system is not 100% good with that yet, but it's getting better. So that's what the class leader board looks like on a weekly basis. So the most dedicated, the knowledge point master, etc. This is the class ranking. So there is a competition among classes, which also motivates students to do well and better. This is the information I get behind the scene when I export it to Excel. So let's see what I have here. I have their level. I have the time, the learning time at a given point. I see the student learning, what level they're learning at according to the system analysis. And as you can see, although it's a pre-academic, very weak class, the levels are very different within that class. I have their overall grade, and here you have an explanation of how the grade is combined. I have a concentration grade. I have a quiz grade. They're not aware of the fact that they're taking quizzes, so there is no quiz anxiety or anything. And there is a performance grade. So the division and the percentages are here on the side for you to explore. I'll be happy to share the presentation as well. Here we have an example from Korean University and how the system corrects wrong language, how it explains what's correct, what's not correct. This, they had to put a sentence in order, and explains the difference between which and who. And it will come back to the student over and over again with new examples and different examples to ensure the acquisition of a given point where the student was weak. When all said and done, not only training, but a personalized teaching platform accelerates learning efficiency. And we know from the vast research of 12 years that 96.1% MAGNILEARN's feedback messages helps me, that's what they say, correct my mistakes and improve my English. And my students, my own students will testify something very similar. So it's based on nano-learning approach, as I said. They collect knowledge maps according to the colors, and the darker the color, the more profound and higher level the knowledge is. It generates personalized in real time. It tailors each exercise. I'll just try to move the gallery. No, I want to go back just a second. Sorry. Move the gallery. Sorry, my bad. It generates personalized lessons in real time, tailors each exercise to a learner, integration to any curriculum, textbook, or goals. I, for example, feed in a number of elements that I'm interested in my students to learn on their own. And it has an efficient curriculum coverage. It's free from challenging exercises. Learners compose answers, and it is based on granular answer analysis, detailed explanation for mistakes. One of the things I like the most about MAGNILEARN is the fact that all the data is collected in such a clear and accessible way for me as an instructor. When I meet with the student periodically, we analyze everything he or she did in MAGNILEARN, and we learn where they should go, what they should do. Things which are very difficult to collect, even on Moodle, where you have a lot of data. It is much less straightforward in terms of using it in order to better learning and teaching. So what is available for EAP, English for Academic Purposes, or EPIC, English for Purposes of International Communication on MAGNILEARN? As I said, it's 100% personalized. It's your unique curriculum that you can integrate and that students can learn. And there is quality assessment for instructors and students alike. Students get all the information for themselves, just as you, their instructor, which is great, in my opinion. It also provides pre-tests in correlation with all the known tests on the market. It enables personalized courses, precise knowledge of test taker strengths and weaknesses, as I said, and there are post-test measure progress lesson based on individual knowledge maps. Again, there is so much information about MAGNILEARN on their site, so whoever is interested can just go in and check it out. This is the video which we created with the students, but I think we're running out of time. And I want to end with a quote. Technology is not only enhancing established approaches to teaching, it is also helping to incubate new ones. And I'm very grateful that I came across MAGNILEARN a few years ago. It has definitely changed my teaching. It has changed my students' learning much further. And it has added a wonderful dimension to my async lessons, which are a third of my courses. My courses are about 12 weekly hours for 36 weeks, and a third of that is async. And my students cannot stop raving about MAGNILEARN. And their biggest concern is, will it be available for me when I finish your course? Will it be available for me when I go on, etc.? So it's not the perfect, but it allows students to sharpen their ability. And another quote from Benjamin Franklin you can read on your own. And thank you so much for your listening in time and for this whole very special day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tal. Question is, do you still want to show the video with the, how long is it?
I'll tell you in a sec. It's open, it's ready. 2 minutes and 23 seconds. Can we?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me share.
So much.
I'll share with sound. Oh, yeah, that's it. Let's go.
In this video, we'll show how our AI-driven algorithms create precisely the right lesson from our language library instead of from preset content. Our NLP algorithms create short teaching units from the vocabulary words, elements of grammar, and usage rules that the student needs to learn at each step of the way towards proficiency. As the student learns, MAGNILEARN learns more and more about the student as well. We record everything that our language-aware algorithms discern about the student's learning in his or her personalized knowledge map. The student's knowledge map is represented as dots on the brain. Each dot comprises a number of words and grammatical patterns that we call knowledge units. Selecting a colored dot shows the specific knowledge units that the student has learned in the past. The color palette shows the knowledge level reached in these units. Teaching is tailor-made specifically for each student. Each exercise is built upon the student's knowledge map and the school's syllabus. The software builds the exercise with precision so as to challenge the student at a manageable difficulty level. Exercises are active. The users need to come up with an answer. They do not select it from multiple choice options. This is based upon a known cognitive principle in order to enhance the learning process. Every exercise is followed by a feedback page. Let's assume that the student has correctly used who, but did not follow the correct grammatical pattern. The system emphasizes in different colors correct and incorrect knowledge units in the student's answer. For the incorrect items, the system provides a detailed explanation. Correct answers update the student's knowledge map and provide the student with knowledge points as positive feedback. No two brains are alike. Hence, personalization is a must in modern education. According to up-to-date neural and cognitive science research, careful use of the native tongue in foreign language teaching is efficient and recommended. The system can be customized to any native language. All the answers given during the lesson, both correct and incorrect, are stored and are used to update the student's knowledge map. MAGNILEARN's language-aware teaching algorithms are a breakthrough in science and allow new levels of personalized and efficient learning towards any school's curricular goals.
You are, I am your and I like.
Let me just close this. Oh,
Is that
That-
your
that's
grandchild? in the
another
background?
promoting another course of learning how to speak English for young learners. So the other video is the one where the students talk, but again, you have all the links on their site, so I don't think there is any need for more videos.
Thank you ever so much, Tal. I know that in general, it's been one of the sort of prime examples of how to teach a language. Israel is there very much at the forefront of the way how you teach languages. I mean, like you've had to cope with so many immigrants having to learn Hebrew, and it's been exemplified of how fast and how good and how well everybody learns a language in Israel. So MAGNILEARN seems to be a tool that's just for language learning, and that is unusual itself. I mean, if there's an AI-driven learning tool around, they would very likely target any sort of subject, not just language. But it seems MAGNILEARN is specifically for languages. Is that true?
It's specifically for languages at this point. I think that their aspiration in the long run is to be able to do other things with it, because the platform allows you can teach other content rather than just language. But at this point, and when they established the tool, that was the main focus, and that's what it is up until now. But in the future, I think they have plans to be able, you can teach history in a similar way. You can teach science, biology, many other things.
Impressive. And is it a product created in Israel, or is it?
It's an Israeli product actually created by, she's Brazilian. She has a PhD in math and algorithms, this woman, Lana, who is the co-founder. And her native language is Portuguese.
Wow.
And she came to Israel as an immigrant and had to struggle, just like you said. I have in my class students who for them English is their fourth language, because Arabic speaking students have spoken Arabic, literary Arabic, Hebrew, and only then English comes in.
Wow.
It's 4 languages that they have to cope with in their journey throughout K to 12 education. So definitely this is a wonderful thing to personalize according to a curriculum. So, you know, when things come up in the class, oh, I did it yesterday with MAGNILEARN. And I know the answer here because I did it. I was wrong a few times, but then I got it right. And they're so thrilled. The connection between what they do on their own at home is an async component and what comes up in class and how it improves their ability.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much, Tal. And we'll stop the recording. Yeah.